Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So, have you guys heard Miley Cyrus? Yeah, that Miley Cyrus recently revealed on the Joe Rogan podcast, yeah, of course you had to do it on Joe Rogan, right? That she is no longer vegan. And the reason why I'm covering this is A, she's on Joe Rogan talking about veganism, and B, the reasons she gave for why she's no longer vegan are hauntingly similar to many of these other, like, say, YouTuber influencers that recently quit saying why I'm no longer vegan. Certain health issues that they claimed were caused by vegan diets, which they claimed that also could only be solved by eating animal products. So anyway, let's jump in and see what Miley Cyrus had to say.
I like looking at my brain and going, okay, listen, like someone cut my brakes, right, on my brain. And I have to take all the things, omega. I was vegan for a very long time, and I've had to introduce fish and omegas into my life because my brain wasn't functioning properly. And
don't tell that to the vegans. They'll come for you.
They're going to come for me, but that's okay.
I suppose Miley could argue that me making a video like this is an example of vegans coming after, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to understand in a rational, objective, critical thinking manner what happened with Miley's vegan diet, why she had to leave, did she have to leave veganism?
I have 22 animals on my farm in Nashville. I've got 22 in my house in Calabasas. Like, I'm doing what I need to do for the animals. Like, okay.
Okay, great. That's a nice, generous, compassionate use of your wealth, but let's not get sidetracked by that. Kudos, that's awesome, but let's try to understand what's going on with Miley's brain. Why did she have to quit veganism because of her brain?
Okay.
But when it comes to my brain, you're not vegan.
No.
You can't be vegan and living this kind of and being this quick. But
What
having
did
a
it
lot
do for your brain?
now I'm so much sharper than I was, and I think that I was at one point pretty malnutrition.
Did you hear that, guys? There, Miley Cyrus is saying that as a vegan, following a vegan diet, she was malnourished. Malnutrition is what she said, but we all know she meant to say malnourished. And as a result of eating animal products now, she's feeling mentally sharp. And as I'll show later, she provided no story or evidence that she went to any kind of health professional, got a blood test, any kind of diagnosis, a real diagnosis of any kind of deficiency or malnutrition or anything like that. It's what you see with these, former recent vegan influencer types that say they self-diagnosed as being deficient or malnourished. Anyway, let's get to her rap here about why she needs to have fish to help her brain.
Supplementing, especially with the omegas, like the omegas have really changed my life for me. I think, again, you kind of refer to me as something like a car, and I think that we are kind of like a car, and I was like so dry from having none of these healthy fats in my diet.
So if she really was not having any healthy fats in her diet, whose responsibility was that? Who was making her food choices? Was it her? Does she have a personal chef? I mean, come on, don't blame veganism for you not choosing to have enough healthy fats in your diet.
I did what I could with like as many fucking avocados a day as I could have and other things, but it's hard to get the fat.
Yeah.
All right, that's good at least, getting avocados in your diet to get some fats, but relying on avocados as your primary or sole source of healthy fats, did a doctor or nutritionist tell you that? I really doubt that.
Oh, your brain really needs those fats, and it was really, really hard for me.
Fish oil is the way to go.
Yep. I do kind of like the fish egg Vital Choice also, because
that stuff's great.
I love Vital
Fish
Choice.
egg.
Are you kidding? Fish egg? Seriously, let's just take stock in this for a second. So she said she's vegan, and I have every reason to believe her. And then she has some, brain issues, as she says. She's not feeling sharp and all that. So her go-to move, instead of trying some vegan products, some algae, which is what fish are eating, that's why they're a great source of omega-3s. It's kind of like how people say they need to eat cows or animals to get B12, while these livestock are supplemented with B12. So you just could take the supplement yourself and leave the middleman, a middle animal, out and not kill him. Same thing with the fish. Just take the algae yourself. I don't understand how a vegan reasons this, that they need to eat an animal that ate algae when they just could eat the algae themselves. Right, not to turn this into some kind of product places. I just want to prove to Miley and Joe and the world that I'm not lying here. Here's a completely vegan source of omega-3, all DHA. A lot of people say ALA is not good enough, it's harder to convert. Well, here is DHA. It's from algae, and it's from a Canadian company called Algorithm DHA. And this is to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. This is peanut butter, basically, made out of algae. And one serving of this gives you 400 milligrams of omega-3 DHA. You don't need to eat a fish. And if you don't don't mind getting omega-3 in the form of ALA. 1 scoop of this from Clean Machine Green Protein. This is made from duckweed, a purely 100% plant-based source. Gives you over 800 milligrams of omega-3. So you don't need to eat fish. If you somehow think you need to have omega-3s in your diet, you can do it completely vegan.
Like I remember going to Glastonbury, but I was running on empty. I was on empty.
Can I ask you, were you doing a vegan diet like meticulous?
The strictest you've ever known.
But you doing it intelligently?
I'll be the first to admit that I give Joe Rogan a lot of crap in my videos. He says lots of silly things about veganism, but I have noticed that he is a perceptive person often, and here he displays that, noticing that Miley is saying that she's lacking energy, she has no energy for her concert, and ask the right question. Were you following an intelligent vegan diet? Because we all know, just because someone is following a vegan diet doesn't mean it's necessarily healthy. You could just eat Oreos or just kale and olive oil and call yourself a vegan. So let's see what Miley says.
Like,
I did all my supplements.
The right way,
I do all my protein drinks. I've watched every bodybuilder's YouTube about how they still
You can't pay attention to those
train.
guys.
I don't know if it's just me. Let me know down below if you had some, not red flags, but yellow flags go off by what Miley said there. She could have been more specific, which would have helped us all out. But when asked if she's supplementing, all she really said, yeah, I'm taking my protein. I'm watching the bodybuilders on YouTube and just following what they're doing. And she never made any mention of taking supplements that vegans are truly, should be paying close attention to, such as, like, say, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and omega-3s for that matter. But she's just talking about protein. And if you're watching like vegan bodybuilders on YouTube and seeing how much food they eat and how much protein they take, well, they're doing something very specific. Unless you're trying to get like super big, swole like they are, the amount of protein that you need in your diet is going to be vastly different.
That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, I'm like, all I eat is celery, and like, why are my thighs like huge? Like,
all right, so definitely now some red flags are going off, saying she's eating nothing but celery all day and her thighs are getting huge. Well, let's start with the celery. I mean, this is the first mention I've heard her say specifically what she might be eating in a day, and eating nothing but celery all day. I mean, I've never even conceived of that. I've been vegan nearly 10 years, and that's never crossed my mind to try to eat celery all day. Who gave you the idea? Where'd you get this idea to eat celery all day? And might that possibly be the reason why you're experiencing this, lethargy in the mind that you're talking about, this, you're not sharp or anything? That's not a lot of calories to go around. And she's talking throughout this interview how she's a very active person. She works out every day and she's busy with her career. So celery, if you are truly eating celery all day, you might want to think as being a possible reason for why you're not feeling that good. Like I said, I couldn't even think about eating celery all day. There's really not many calories to be found in celery. You'd have to eat a whole boat ton. Secondly, why are you talking about your thighs getting huge here? Remember, we're talking about veganism. Veganism is not a diet. People don't go vegan to get toned thighs. It's a moral, ethical stance. And I thought she understood that because she was bragging about how she has like 40 odd animals in her care.
Yeah.
Vegan bodybuilder guys, they're almost all on steroids.
It's
All right, so now that the true old Joe Rogan that we all know from my videos here is back with a stupid, silly, unproven comment like that, and I find it so ironic because Joe, of all people, is known to be on testosterone replacement therapy. Yeah, Joe and I are the same exact age, just born like 10 days apart, and he takes testosterone shots in the butt to get the same testosterone levels that I naturally have as a vegan.
We all have different ancestors, and our ancestors come from different parts of the world. And, I don't know if the blood type thing is accurate, but some people really believe that.
All right, so when Joe gets on a roll, he gets on a roll. Let's just quickly debunk these two nonsense myths that Joe put out here, that people of certain ancestries are better or worse at being vegan. This is complete nonsense. There's people from every walk of life, every ethnicity, who are successful, healthy, long-term vegans. Just look at us here, me and Angie, quite different ethnicities, and we're both successful, long-term, nearly 10-year vegans. Secondly, this blood type nonsense. Yeah, some people believe that, but some people believe in Santa Claus too. There's absolutely zero credible evidence correlating human blood types with success or the lack thereof of being vegan.
This is another thing that I like about seeing the brain is I try to eat for my brain type and not my blood type necessarily. My brain type. So my brain type.
So now, like Joe has been doing, Miley is just making stuff up too. There's no such thing as brain types. Certain brain types are better suited for being vegan, and certain other brain types can't be vegan, and they need to have a steady supply of fish oil in their diet. Complete nonsense.
How long were you vegan?
I was vegan from 2013 till 2019.
Just thought I'd throw out there that we've been vegan since 2010, Angie vegetarian since the 1980s. So just wanted to share that because Miley, was vegan from 2013 to 2019, and here we are, much older than her and vegan much longer, and not having any of these health problems that she says are caused by vegan diets.
So in 2019, what was the first thing that you ate?
My ex-husband cooked me some fish on the grill.
So that seems to be the extent of her straying from a vegan diet. As far as what she said here on Joe Rogan, is having some fish products in the form of eating fish sometimes, she didn't say how frequently, and having regular fish oil supplements. So I'll give her some kudos for not straying completely away from veganism, because you see how it works out for a lot of these recent former vegans. They'll say, oh, I'll have one egg, I'll have one piece of fish or whatever, and that'll solve my problems. And they think it does, and next thing you know, they're going to steak restaurants. So she said she quit in 2019. Here we are in mid-late 2020, still calls herself a pescatarian. So I'll give her kudos for that, but I do want to throw some blame, if that's the right word, some frustration, I should say, maybe, for her being in her celebrity position, going out on the most popular podcast in the world and pretty much saying a vegan diet is a fail. It failed her. She had all this brain fog and needed to eat animal products to feel better again. And she's sharing her own personal experience, but what I'm frustrated or disappointed is now all these, people, the masses out there are going to hear about, oh, I heard Miley Cyrus said the vegan diet is horrible for the brain. I'll never go vegan because of that. So there's a lot of damage to be done here. And I'm doubly upset or frustrated because, as I showed, that's not necessarily the case. You don't have to eat animal products to get omega-3s. If you want DHA, ALA, whatever you want, you can get completely vegan sources of omega-3s. You don't have to stop being vegan. So it's completely frustrating to see celebrities do something like this, that they don't have to. And then, the masses think, oh, veganism's a fail. Leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you think about Miley Cyrus quitting vegan. It's a surprise. Do you think she could have educated herself better? Because it sounds to me like she didn't really educate herself as much as she could have. Sounds like she's doing it more for her thighs and that kind of thing rather than for, saving the lives of animals. So anyway, questions and comments down below. Let me know if I missed anything. I haven't been following her life all that much or anything, so let me know if you know more stuff than I do. And hit like, share this video. Until next time, let's keep it carb, baby.
When does the pain